it to show you what it was like, and took some pictures at various stages of the build. And we're going to put that on first, and then after that we're going to do the second part of the video for all you newcomers to boating, and a lot of little do's and don'ts, mostly which are explained in this, which is an RCD which should come with your boat. And what this is, it's just like a manual really for all your bits that's on your boat. Tells you all your do's and don'ts. Obviously all your don'ts are all in red. It just basically tells you how to look after your boat, and then your boat will look after you. So without any further ado, we'll get on with the video, and then the second part, like I say, we'll do for you beginners. Now we have part 2 of the video, which I hope it helps all you newbies and those who are just buying a brand new boat. Right, now we're in the engine room. When you're climbing into the engine room, you step down onto the engine, onto the top of the engine, and that way you can't do any damage. Because if you get down in the engine room and stand on the fuel lines, you'll make the fuel lines leak, and then you tighten them up, you tread on them again, you tighten them up a bit more, tread on them again, and they won't tighten up. You either get new pipes put in, or you must make sure you don't tread on any of the fuel lines, otherwise you're just making yourself a world of pain. Now then, while we're in here, I will show you around the engine room. Just to the side of me here. Right, these are your battery boxes. Under this one, them two are the batteries for the bow thruster. They're all connected up, and on the side of here, which I'll show you in a minute, is where the main fuses are for the batteries, just at the side here. In there we have the leisure batteries and your starter battery for the engine. Again, you just lift the lid up, the side comes down, so if you need to change them, they're pretty easy to change, but the box protects them, stops them getting too cold, and with the holes in the top it helps ventilate them so they don't get too hot either. Right, at the back over there you'll see various different taps. Each one of these taps are for the fuel lines. The one over there is for the diesel heater that's in the boat. The one over there is for the webasto, and these two are for the engine. Now then, moving round, we have the calorifier. If I just get in the out, at the side of the calorifier we've got the expansion tank, isolation valves for your water and your heating. Here we have a little filter for the heater that's on the boat, the reflex fire. Here we have our webasto. Right, bring it right round. Right, here we have all the fuses and mega fuses for the various different things, and some there. And we've also got the isolation switches there, and there's three behind me, sorry. And down here is your stern thruster, and this is the stern thruster pipe. Moving round again, obviously this is your engine. This is a Beta 50, bit of a beast really, but if you ever get into trouble, this will pull you out of trouble, where the others, the Beta 45, well 43 sorry, you might struggle. Right, coming over here, here you have your filter and your pump for your engine. Down there you have your bilge pump. That's automatic. When that gets filled up, it just empties. and that's the overflow for your calorifier should it get too hot. At the back there, that's your weed hatch, which you must make sure it's on before you travel anywhere, because if you don't, you'll sink your boat. Up here we have the controls for your throttle and your gears, and at the back you can see where it plugs into the mains from outside. Right, you really must look after the things in here, because this is the heart of your boat. If you don't look after your batteries, you let them go too flat, then when you come to move off, they'll let you down. For instance, if your bow thruster batteries are not charged, when you go out and you try to charge them, try to use them, it will overload and it will blow the fuse, and it's designed to blow the fuse so you don't get too much power into your motor and damage your motor. So really, you must make sure that these are charged up at all times. All your batteries for that matter. I mean, there's 10 batteries on this boat. There's 2 for this thruster, there's 2 at the front for the other thrusters. Now normally you only have 1 battery, but we put 2 in just to give you that little bit extra. But even so, the batteries do run down, and if you've not charged them up, it's like a car. If you leave a car for 12 months, if you leave a car for 12 weeks, something like that, and you go in, battery's flat. But it wasn't when you left it, because things are on standby and it will deplete. So really, if you're not living on it and using them every day, then you must go every couple of weeks, just to make sure you can charge your batteries up, because you don't want them to get too flat. If they get too flat and you try and use them, you damage the cells inside, and then you'll be saying, "Oh, my batteries are not working. They're not charging properly." Well, they won't, because you've overloaded them without charging them up properly. It takes a long time to charge the batteries up. So if you've let them go down to say half, and then you toddle off, but you only travel an hour, 2 hours further along the bank and decide to park up, then you have all your things on in the boat, and then you've used even more of the batteries, so there's even less than there was when you started out, because 2 hours charging is not enough. If you've let your batteries go down that much, you've not put enough battery power back in. You really must make sure that they're charged up before you set out anywhere. That's your batteries. Like I say, your fuel lines, you really need to make sure that they are out of the way, you've not trod on them. Prevention is better than cure. I'm going to take through 1 or 2 other little things that you must do to your boat to look after it, especially if you're not using it all the time, and that is the doors, the gas locker. They must be greased on a regular sort of basis. Now if you're using your doors all the time, you'll notice that they're getting a bit stiff and you can put a bit of grease on them. However, when it comes to your gas locker, people forget. They think, "Oh, well, I don't need to go in there because I've still got plenty of gas." But by the time you get to go in there, they've rusted solid, and then you can't get in your gas locker, and as a consequence you break the pins.
and then the pins are going to be drilled out for the sake of a bit of a grease. And I'm not saying you have to do it every week, but you know, just keep your eye on it. Open and shut your gas locker on a regular sort of intervals, and you can tell when it's going stiff, and then you just put some more grease on. Also with the hatch, the main hatch, you need to put grease on your runners. Now this can be a pain, because if you're like me, I tend to put my hand on the top and I get grease on my hand off the rollers. But if you just put a little bit on, it keeps it working free. You need to put just a bit of grease on your rollers just to make sure that they keep working free. Because what you don't want to do, you don't want them to get dry, because then all the ball bearings will start coming out and then you need new runners. The next thing is vents. On this boat, it's been designed that you have a lot of top level airflow as well as low level. And the low level are the ones that's in your doors. The high levels are your mushrooms and your hatch. Now if you block any of these up in any way, shape or form, then there's not enough airflow coming in the boat. And the problem with that is, if you've not got enough airflow going in the boat, the consequences are your fire doesn't burn right. So if you've got your fire on and you're looking at your fire, it should be a blue flame. Now if it's a yellow flame, that means it's not getting enough air. Now you have to ask yourself why then. But if you blocked any of these vents up in any way, this is why. Now another consequence is, if it's not burning right, you'll get carbon monoxide in your cabin, which is not a good thing. You will also get a lot of condensation, because the air can't get out, because the air's trying to get in, and the two react, and it just doesn't let enough air in. So as a consequence, there's condensation everywhere. Now that condensation will result in things going mouldy, windows steaming up, simply because you've blocked one or more vents up. So these vents must be clear at all times. Another consequence of blocking vents up is, depending on how much you've blocked it up, your flue on your fire, instead of taking the toxic fumes out, is trying to suck air in. So the air is going the wrong way down that flue, and it's putting carbon monoxide again into your living room. Now you have a carbon monoxide tester in there that should go off. However, it's better not to have any in there at all. So it's important that you keep ventilation, good ventilation. You can open your windows slightly, and that will let some more oxygen in. You must keep it sort of well ventilated. Another thing is you mustn't do is put your hob, all your things on your hob to warm the boat up. It doesn't need it, because the central heating should do it, and if that doesn't do it and you need more, your reflect fire should do it. You shouldn't be using your hob. your gas out of your gas bottle actually creates water vapour when it's burning. Each bottle can put quite significant amount of moisture in the air in your cabin. So if you've not got your vents working properly, that moisture can't get out, and then again you're going to get mould and all that sort of carry on. So it's very important, your vents. They are one of the most important things that you have to look after, next to your batteries. Without your batteries, you're not going anywhere, you're not doing anything. It's all in the RCD that you get with the boat. If you're not going to be on the boat all the time, it will explain in the RCD of what you need to do to winter it, if you like. You have to shut most things down. Some you don't, but there's a good reference in the RCD that tells you what you do really need to do and what you don't. But if you're like me, I tend to not like instructions. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. Well, in this case, you do need to read them. If you're like me and you don't like reading the instructions, this is why I've done this video. But I can only go through a few of the things that's in the RCD. In there, it will tell you everything about the boat. Everything from the wiring to the plumbing to just about everything. And it will touch on your batteries and your pipes, your ventilation system. It will touch on all them. If it's a liverboard, a lot of things won't apply. But if you're not using it very often, it takes more maintenance than it does when you're actually living on it, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the end of the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If there's anything you're not sure of, feel free, drop us a line, give us a comment, and we'll get back to you.